Hey, English 2 scholars, welcome to your first online lesson. Before we get started for today, I want to take a look at our Quarter 4, Unit 1, English 2 pacing guide. So I highly encourage all of you to use the chart below as a guide to work through our first unit of Quarter 4. You're welcome to go ahead and work ahead of this if you choose to, but I'm going to recommend that you do a little each day like I've outlined below so that you don't get behind. If you struggle with anything, use these videos as a resource to help you. And then if you have any questions outside of that, of course, schedule a time to meet with me to virtually chat or just shoot me an email. So on the menu for today, Monday, April 6th, y'all are responsible for completing your first two pre-reading assignments before we get started reading our next text called Ruthless. So you'll find both of these assignments in Google Classroom. Your first pre-reading assignment has to do with these vocab words, ruthless and materialism. And then your next pre-reading assignment has to deal with the psychology of revenge. Over here in this column, I've included the point breakdown for you, so how you will be graded on each of these assignments. So your first pre-reading assignment will be worth 20 informal points, and your second pre-reading assignment will be worth, again, another 20 informal points. So let's go ahead and take a look at that first assignment, which I've got open in this tab. So again, we're just preparing to read our story Ruthless by exploring a few relevant topics. So if our title is Ruthless, well, we gotta know what it means because that's gotta be important. So your first task is to answer this first question. Does the term ruthless have a negative or positive connotation, and what does the term mean? If you'd like, you can pull open dictionary.com. If you think you already know what ruthless is, that's perfect. So use this space to answer the question. So for example, I believe ruthless has a positive or negative connotation. I believe the term ruthless could mean, and then just give me that there. Awesome. Take a few moments to do that. If you need to pause the video and come back, that's totally fine. But let's keep moving on with your directions for your next task. So once you've answered this first question, your next task is to describe a person in history or a character that you've read about who acted in a ruthless way. So if you were unsure about your definition up here, now would definitely be a good time to go ahead, open up a new tab, and Google the definition of ruthless, so that way you can give me a good description of someone that you've read about or learned about who's acted in a ruthless way. So again, if you need to pause the video and type out your response here, that works. So someone who has acted in a ruthless way could be because, so that's a sentence starter for you if you need it. If not, just plug along, do your own thing. Next task, y'all are going to watch a video and answer some questions below in complete sentences. So in order to access the video, you've got to click right here, click right here. It'll open it in a new tab for you. The video is super short. It's only a minute long. It's on, or it focuses, I'm sorry, mostly on materialism. So you should recognize the word within that word, right? Material. You'll learn a little bit more about that. Once you're done watching that video, return back to the screen. You're going to answer this next question. Based on the information, what's the definition of materialism? Y'all will type that here for me. Once you've got that, you're going to tell me what material objects do many students at Geringer High School seem to covet, or in other words, really like. I could think of quite a few examples off the top of my head. So in complete sentences, tell me down here, one example of a material object many students at GHS covet would be, and then give me that material. What do students really like? Once you've got that, I want you to tell me, why do you think students covet these items? Why do y'all like them? Give me a complete sentence. And then your final task is, do you agree or disagree with the following statement from the video? You should be able to make your own rules when it comes to your property. I anticipate that I'm going to have a lot of different answers to this one, so I'm interested to read what y'all write. Just be sure to explain your answer in complete sentences down here. A sufficient response should be about I don't know, 2 to 4 complete sentences. And just to bring it all back, because remember, this is pre-reading. This is getting us ready for the story we're about to read. So we're going to keep that question, or that statement rather, in mind as we read the story. We're going to be asking ourselves, what is the author illustrating about protecting personal property and exacting revenge? So once you are done with all of those steps of your pre-reading guide, you can go ahead and submit. That is your first task completed for today. So let's take a look at our pacing guide. And then we'll get to our next assignment. Cool. So pre-reading assignment number 2, the psychology of revenge. I've got mine open right here. Yours will be in Google Classroom. You're going to read about the definition of revenge over here. So you're going to click on that. Take a look at the definition of revenge. Oh, it's to avenge oneself or another, usually by retaliating in kind or degree, okay? Or to inflict injury in return for something. Cool. So once you've got that, oh sweet, we have a nice little picture of a cat with glasses that popped up. So based on that information, I want you to record a definition of revenge in your own words down here. It does not have to be perfect. Y'all all are familiar with revenge. And then what you're going to do next is watch the video here. So same thing, you're going to click on it, going to click on the link. It'll open up in a new tab. We are not going to watch it together here. You can do that on your own. Once you are done watching the video, you will come back to this document and finish up answering these questions. First one, how does revenge impact our brains in the short term? Or in other words, just in the moment. The answer is in the video. Next up, how does revenge impact us in the long term? Give me a complete sentence down here. Next up is, what does the following quote about exacting revenge mean? So really you're just going to explain this in your own words. A man that studieth revenge keeps his own wounds green, which otherwise would heal. So tell me in your own words, 1 or 2 sentences, what do we mean about this quote? What's it showing us about revenge? What does revenge do? Or what does revenge not do? And then your final task for this reading guide, or pre-reading guide rather, is, what does Vanessa Van Edwards suggest to individuals who are tempted to seek revenge? So in other words, what is her advice to us if we are tempted or if we are thinking about getting revenge on someone? I want you to answer in 1 to 2 complete sentences here. That pretty much wraps up your lesson and your work for today. So again, if you have any questions about that, check in during my office hours or shoot me an email. But otherwise, good luck. You will do great, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.